All right, so moving on to the next segment, we're going to pivot here to the world of boxing. And in this next segment, I'll be sharing my fight summary on the fight that took place last night in the welterweight division between Jaron Ennis and Eimantas Stanionis. So, a new chapter was written in the welterweight division, and we have a new unified king of this welterweight division. It's Jaron Boots Ennis. He knocked out, or won the fight last night by TKO, technical knockout, against Eimantas Stanionis in the 6th round to retain his IBF title, win the WBA title, and win the vacant Ring Magazine World title. So now he's the new unified king of this welterweight division. I'll be sharing my fight summary on the fight that took place last night. So if I'm being completely honest, I scored this fight 6-0, a shutout in favor of Jaron Boots Ennis, dismantling and dominating Eimantas Stanionis, a world champion that Jaron Ennis made it look like a cakewalk. And this was supposed to be his hardest fight up to date in his boxing career. And he looked very comfortable in that boxing ring. This is the best I've seen Jaron Ennis look since 2013 when he defeated Roman Villa. All the way back in 2023, he looked very comfortable in the boxing ring. Showed that some of the matrix moves that made Jaron Ennis stand out as the next big thing at this welterweight division. He fought well on the inside, fought well in the pocket, capitalized on Stanionis' mistakes. Jaron Ennis did a good job digging to the body. That was the game plan, digging to the body to shut down Eimantas Stanionis as the fight went on. Shut him down. And that's what broke his will, because he dropped him in the 6th round and basically he retired and quit in the corner before the 7th round begun. That's the reason why Jaron Ennis earned the TKO victory. But Jaron Ennis was digging to the body. He had success landing the overhand right. He was the bigger, faster, stronger fighter and had the better boxing skills than Eimantas Stanionis last night. The footwork was on full display as well. Something I will say as well, with these IBF rules, if you can only rehydrate to 10 pounds for title fights, with that rule being out the window because the WBA title was involved, I think that was a big game plan, or a big reason why Jaron Ennis was very comfortable out there. He had more than just 10 pounds to put on for fight night rehydrating, because the rule for the IBF, I'll just say this, Jaron Ennis fights at 147. So that means if there was no other title involved and he was just defending the IBF title, he could only rehydrate to 10 pounds, which he would only have to be 157 pounds. Maybe there's an argument there. That's probably why we didn't see Jaron Ennis move and look this well in quite some time. But that also mixes in for the boxing skills and the adjustments that he had in camp and working on his sharpness. And he made his hardest fight up to date look like a cakewalk. I'm telling you guys, Jaron Ennis, this version of Jaron Ennis looks unbeatable at 147. And I am very proud of what I saw from Jaron Ennis. I think obviously there's a conversation because he's a welterweight unified champion that he could be on your updated pound for pound list, top 10 now. He has the stats. He has the resume. He's building himself up. And he also had success landing the jab, having success landing counter punches in this fight. One hell of a performance by Jaron Ennis. But I'll get to him in a few moments. But let's get to Eimantas Stanionis. He did have his moments in this fight. Again, I did score it 6-0, a shutout in favor of Jaron Ennis. But Eimantas Stanionis did have his standout moments in this fight. And Eimantas Stanionis did a good job landing the jab, having success early on in the fight with the counter punches, and he's letting his hands fly. But as time went on, Jaron Ennis just broke him down and broke down his will. And you could tell Eimantas Stanionis was gaining, or he was allowing, how should I say that? He was showing too much respect for what Jaron Ennis displayed, because as the fight went on, his aggressiveness started to drop and to dwindle little by little. And you could see the confidence dropping in that boxing ring. And that's where Jaron Ennis knew he had him. He knew he had him, dead to rights. Because as time went on, Eimantas Stanionis was getting wore down, broken down, beat down. And I don't know, I can't remember if it was his nose or he's bleeding from the nose or the mouth last night. Bottom line, there was blood gushing from somewhere, the nose and the mouth. And that's hard in a boxing ring because that's the two ways that humans breathe, through the nose and through the mouth. So when you have one thing cut off or you're already fighting at a high pace, your breathing is already being affected. But when you only have one way of breathing and you're already getting beat down like that, the body can only take so much and withstand so much punishment. So he was having his moments, but it just wasn't effective. It didn't have, his punches didn't have the pop, the flavor of what Jaron Ennis was this basically dishing out as well. And that's the reason why his punches weren't effective enough to keep Jaron Ennis honest or keep him off balance of his game as the fight went on. Jaron Ennis was just eating those punches and then coming forward. Which, if you guys have seen, round 1 through 3, I would say at times you've seen Jaron Ennis fighting off the back foot. After those 2 to 3 first rounds, he was coming straight towards him. Like, he was coming at him. And there was nothing that Stanionis could do. So, I really think that Stanionis, he had somewhat of a good performance, but it was not enough at all to withstand what Jaron Ennis was giving to him. And if he came out of that corner for round 6, after round 6, it probably wouldn't have been good. So it was a good decision by the corner to stop it because there was only so much that he could take moving forward, with there being 6 rounds left in the fight, 5 to 6 rounds left in the fight. But again, back to Jaron Ennis, this version of him honestly looks unbeatable at 147. And I think he could be a huge problem whenever he moves up to the super welterweight division at 154, another loaded division. So Jaron Ennis, when he doesn't go for the knockout, when he's fighting his fight, comfortable and fighting and letting the fight come to him and fighting at his pace, dictating the pace. And I also seen him switch stances a lot last night. I seen him fight in the orthodox style. I seen him fight in the southpaw style. This is the best version of Jaron Ennis when he all puts it together and fights his fight. And he just ran through an former undefeated world champion, Eimantas Stanionis, that he's in the prime of his career, with ease. And now is a unified champion. This is what I wanted to see out of Jaron Boots Ennis all weekend long. And I said he was going to be victorious. I said by decision, but I didn't think he was going to have this big of a performance that I saw last night. So I'm very happy for Jaron Ennis. But now he improves his record to 34-0, 30 wins come away of knockout, is now the WBA, IBF, and Ring Magazine world champion at the welterweight division. And he joins an elite list of former all-time greats at this welterweight division that have held the Ring Magazine title, that being Floyd Mayweather, Terrence Crawford, Sugar Ray Robinson, just to name a few. Jaron Ennis can say he held a Ring Magazine title at this division like these all-time greats and Hall of Famers did. So he has a lot to be proud of. And now he holds 2 out of the 4 prestigious titles at this welterweight division. And that's what I'm about to get into next for what's next for Jaron Ennis. So what's next for Jaron Ennis? Well, his path to being a undisputed welterweight champion is halfway complete. He now holds the WBA title, the IBF title, and the Ring Magazine world titles at the welterweight division. He's the unified king of this division. And you get the Ring Magazine title by being awarded as the best fighter in this division. So now he's cleared his path halfway. There's 2 titles that are still out there, 2 titles that are still out there. Mario Barrios holds the WBC title. I think he's the weak link champions-wise at this division. And there's Brian Norman Jr., who holds the WBO world title. And I think the fight we should see next for Jaron Ennis is Jaron Ennis versus Brian Norman Jr. for a title unification fight. I think that both fighters have established how good they are at this welterweight division. I think Jaron Ennis has the skills, the boxing IQ, the power. And Brian Norman just scored a big knockout victory in his first title defense for the WBO title in the co-main event slot of that Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan undercard a few weeks ago on ESPN Top Rank. So I think this is a 50-50 fight. I think that these 2 fighters obviously don't like each other. I'm tired of tweeting. I'm tired of going back and forth on social media. Let's get the squabble on. Let's get the fight. Let's get the title unification fight to prove who is the best at this welterweight division between Jaron Ennis and Brian Norman Jr. Both have over 75% of knockout ratios. Both are powerful punchers. Both have great boxing skills. I think this would be the biggest and toughest opponents that either one of these fighters have ever faced in their boxing careers. So let's get it on. I think that's the easiest fight that should be made next at this welterweight division. And honestly, the winner of that is going to become the undisputed champion because, again, Mario Barrios honestly is the weakest link at this welterweight division. And somebody's going to take that title from him eventually because he did not look good in his title defense that he had on that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson undercard on Netflix months and months ago, with that fight going to the draw, and him escaping with that WBC title. So it's only a matter of time until he loses. But the next big fight should be Jaron Ennis versus Brian Norman Jr. And this welterweight division is going to be fun because we also get two upcomers coming up there very soon, and Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. So this welterweight division could pick up some steam once again. But that is my fight summary on the fight that took place last night in the sport of boxing between Jaron Ennis and Eimantas Stanionis.